Hey guys, so it's me, Tiana, and today I'm back with another video, and this video is going to be the making of my ARC notebooks. Now I guess this is kind of the start of a little mini-series where I'm going to have 3 videos talking about my ARC notebooks. One of them will be the making of my ARC notebooks, which is this video. The second one will be the organization of my ARC notebooks, and then the third one is just kind of like how I'm using them in different ways. So most of them are school related, some of them aren't. However, I just thought that it would be fun. I did get a request to do these videos. I had mentioned that I was thinking about doing them in my back to school supplies haul, and I got a comment asking if I would please do the ARC video, so I had a bunch of ideas for them, so I'm just going to do this little mini series. And if you're noticing that I'm wearing the same thing as my last video that I filmed, which was my note-taking method in a timeline form, however it wasn't really a traditional timeline form, it was kind of a new improved version that I found. It's because I'm filming in the same day, and I'm wearing a sweater even though it's the middle of summer because it's really crappy and rainy outside and it's like thunderstorms, so if you hear thunder, that's why. And my cat's been wandering around looking at a bag, so if you hear a bag crinkling, it's her. But anyways, this video is about how I have made my ARC notebooks, and you can see that this is my ARC notebook for history that I'm going to be using this year, and this is actually what I'm using this year instead of binders, and that's only because I wanted to experiment with something different. I know that binders work really well for me, but I like to change things up every year, so I'm just using ARC notebooks this year because I think that the system is absolutely amazing, and I'm just totally in love with it. But I'm not gonna lie, making these was definitely a struggle. So I'm gonna go through the steps that I made and the mistakes that I made so that you guys don't do the same thing, and you can make your ARC notebooks a lot easier without the frustration that I had. So the first thing is this punch. Now this punch is totally optional when making these, although I do kind of recommend it. It would have made these a lot harder to make without the punch. Just in terms of being able to put lined paper in, I know that you can buy ARC lined paper to put in. However, just getting the 10-cent stuff from Walmart and then sitting there and punching it is so much easier and cheaper, and there's not really much difference except that the ARC paper is obviously much thicker because it's more expensive. But I mean, the regular paper serves my purposes for school just fine. So I did get the punch from Staples, and I showed this in my back to school supplies haul, and this was really expensive for what it is. I think it was like $40, I want to say, which is ridiculous, but I got it anyways. And I thought that it was really cool because it does have this lock and unlock option, which, whoop, I just unlocked it. But it does have those options, which I think is really good, especially if you have little kids. It would keep their fingers away from it. If you're a teacher and you're using ARC notebooks, you don't have to worry about any of your kids hurting themselves or whatnot. It's just a great safety feature, I think. So I'm going to lock it again and show you guys, but you just basically move this thing over, and if my camera will focus, you just pop it to the unlock side and it unlocks, or you can just pop it to the lock side and it stays locked. So that's the first thing. However, I did run into a problem with that, like this punch, and that is that it only punches 8 to 10 pages at a time. And when they say 8 to 10 pages, they mean like 8 to 10 really tiny thin pages. Like, you can't go and punch 8 pieces of cardstock. It's just not gonna work. And so I did want to mention that because that is kind of a con, and you can see that you really are limited to that because of how tiny this little piece is where you like put the paper in, and it really can't hold more than that. When I got it, I was like, okay, they say 8 to 10 because they don't want you to break it, but like this thing is heavy duty looking, and there's no way that it can only do 8 pages of paper. And they were right when they said that it can really only do 8 pages of paper. So that left me in a bit of a bind when it came to making these, because the covers of these are actually folders. Like, here, it'd be easier if I just opened it up to show you. But they're actually folders that I used for the cover. And I couldn't punch the folders using this because this can't punch the folders. And I tried and it ended really badly. You can see like I got the bottom part in, but then the top part wouldn't go in, so it didn't actually punch it properly. So that was definitely a bummer. And I was just kind of left with like, how am I going to punch these? Because I was determined that I was going to be using this ARC notebook for school. So I basically came to the conclusion that I was going to have to punch it by hand. And that really sucked, but it was well worth it because I'm so happy with how they turned out. But basically what I did is, because the punch itself could punch a piece of paper, I basically just took a piece of paper, and once it was punched, I'll just rip a piece out to show you guys. I used this with the holes in it as kind of a template for my manual punching of the file, or of the, what are these called? 2-pocket folders. So I basically just took my piece of paper and I lined it up, and I find it easier if you line it up with the middle hole on your folder, because the other thing that I realized is there's folders that are much bigger than others. Like if you look at, I got some folders at Walmart and some folders at the dollar store, and you can see the size difference. Like they are perfectly lined up at the bottom and at the side, and you can see that this one is bigger this way and this way. So I found that if you just line it up with the center hole and you kind of line up your arc thing so that you have the center arc punch with your center hole, that's the easiest way to make sure that you're getting your holes in the middle on the arc page or on your cover, instead of like all the way up at the top and then none down at the bottom, if that makes sense. So I basically just lined this up, and what I did is I took, like, you can see how there's like the top of this little arc piece from the punch, and I lined that up with the top of the hole, because what we're going to do is we're basically going to take this, and wherever there is a hole on it, you're going to take your Sharpie and you're just going to do like a little dot like that. And then you're going to take a 1-hole punch and you're going to punch the hole where you've done your little dot. And then you're going to do that all the way down, and you're basically just going to take scissors and you're going to have all of these little holes all the way down, and you're just going to do little snips into the holes, which will basically give you this exact same thing, except instead of being half a circle here, it's a full circle. And it works the exact same way. So let me just pull off one of my covers, and I can show you guys what I'm talking about. And these covers do come off, however they are difficult because obviously they're like Mod Podged in glitter and they don't come off very easily. But you can see, let me just do the difference between the holes. You can see how this one is like a full circle punch out and then just a little slit that I cut with scissors, versus this one, which is the arc punch, and it's like half a circle punch out and then like a slit in from the punch. So anyways, that is how I made the covers to my notebooks. And then when it came to dividers, I'm going to talk about more of like my dividers and how I made them and everything in my organization video, which will follow this video. But when it came to dividers, you are very limited when you're using the ARC notebooks, especially if you're making everything yourself. You can get plastic dividers from the ARC notebook brand. In Canada, Martha Stewart, like the Martha Stewart stuff, doesn't carry any of their disc-bound stuff. I know that I have seen videos on YouTube where the States has the disc-bound stuff, however Canada does not. So you have to get the dividers from Staples, and they really don't have very pretty ones. So I just got paper dividers, and they're the reinforced ones, and I just punched those. Using the punch, I just did one at a time because they are thicker than a normal piece of paper, and that worked just fine. And then I just took regular plain paper, like you get 150 sheets for 10 cents. I showed it in my back to school haul. Target, you get 200 sheets for 10 cents. I just took that paper and I just took little tiny sections while I was watching TV and I punched them, and that works perfectly fine as well. So that's basically how I made my ARC notebooks and how I got a regular folder from looking like this to being the cover of a notebook. And I'm just going to pop it on so that you guys can see, and I'll show you my ARC notebooks that I'm using. So, but yeah, I'm so in love with this system, it's not even funny. I can't wait to go back to school and be like, bam, how awesome is this? So this is my history notebook that I've made, and this is on the 1.5-inch rings. And then this is my co-op one, which is just green, and it's on the 1-inch rings. And then this is my French one, and this is just pink, red, and it is on the 1.5-inch rings as well. And basically for this pencil pouch, I did the exact same thing that I did for the folder with a 1-hole punch. Punched it and then just cut slits in with scissors, and it goes on amazingly. I want to put one on the front of all of them. However, this is the only one that I got, so I need to go back to the dollar store and get ones that match my other two. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this ARC notebook video. I know that it was kind of long, so I apologize for that, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye guys!